What if I told you that for $6 and a tube of E6000 glue, you could recreate or copycat a very similar product that is being sold right now on the internet for $34.99. Join me today as I copycat and create a complimentary piece to our lighted chandelier that we created just recently. Stay tuned. For this project, you will need 2 of these glass bowls, 4 of these tapered candle holders. You will need 1 of these round floral foams that come in packages of 2. You will also need 2 LED submersible lights. You will need 1 of these push lights, and of course 3 AAA batteries to get that lit. You will need 3 jars of these floral gel beads, 1 package of greening pins, a spool of this or any kind of acrylic garland you would like to use, any sort of embellishments as well you would like to use. I found this at my hair store. You will need flowers, colors of your choosing, of course your handy dandy tools. Let's get started. So here we have the foundation and the base that we're going to use for our riser. And I showed you how to do this already when we created our lighted chandelier last week. What we're going to do is first glue 1 candle holder down to the bowl, glue 2 candle holders to themselves, and 1 of those candle holders will stay by itself until those 2 sets of things has had a time to dry for about 12 to 24 hours. Once that glue has set, what we're going to do is take the final candlestick holder and glue it down on the second candlestick that is affixed to the bowl. Once all of them have dried, then we glue it together. And if you would like to see that, I will place the link for our DIY lighted chandelier in the description box below. So now what we're going to do is we are simply going to use E6000 glue around the brim of that candle holder. I am not using any hot glue with this project because we want that glue, first of all, to sit and set on its own for the next 12 to 24, possibly even 48 hours. And then with the hot glue, we want to make sure by not using it that that bowl or anything that we're gluing in this project is not going to be off balance. Sometimes if you get a bad batch, that glue can dry really hard and your things do not dry balanced. And so here it is. For $6, we have just created a very close facsimile of what is being sold on the internet for $34.99. So now that we are waiting for our riser to dry completely, what we're going to do is we are going to create the floral arrangement that we are going to place on top of the riser. And so what we're going to do now is, before we even go in with our flowers, is place these garlands that I have already pre-measured onto our foam. And this is going to be very simple because what we're doing is not going to be a permanent fix. And of course, the benefit of this is if you are going to be using this repeatedly or even as an event planner and you need to go in and change your flowers out different colors for different clients, you will be able to get this done. So just overlapping the top of that garland over a greening pin and pushing it in, and as you can see, that garland is nice and secure. Now as we follow the pattern, what we're going to do is we are going to hook that garland along with the second garland into that foam by using a greening pin and using the same process, just going in, holding it by the end, overlapping it a little bit, seeing where you want to have this place. We're going to be using 4 loops, so just making sure that you are spacing those 4 loops out properly, or equally, I should say. And then we're just going to continue this process until we have placed our final loop, and our final loop is going to be affixed with the last greening pin, or rather the first greening pin that we put down. And so as you can see now, we have come back to the beginning of our garland, or our first greening pin, and I'm just going to stick the end of the last greening pin in the first greening pin that we use, and just stick that or push that into our floral foam. And as you see, all 4 of our garlands have been hung. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start to place my flowers. The theme for the event that I am preparing these for is a blue and white theme. And the client requested hydrangeas, those light blue hydrangeas and white. And so I chose to use roses for this part of the project. And what I'm doing here is I'm just going around the edge of that round with my roses, and pretty much depending on how far you space these out, you can get anywhere between 10 to 12 roses on this flat. And so just continuing the process, going around and around until I can get back to my starting point, making sure that I'm lining my roses up and they are aligned equally one with the other. And as you can see, I have a little bit of space there that I can go in and just move some roses over to fill that in, but for the sake of filming, I'm not going to do that now. But now what I'm going to do is place my hydrangeas on the top of this foam, going in slightly on the diagonal, because even though you will not be able to see underneath and where that foam is going to sit on those gel beads, we do not want too much poking through at the bottom. So just going in on the diagonal, placing those light blue hydrangeas on that round, and then saving this big open one to go down in the middle. Now, as you can see, there's a space there that we are going to have to fill in, but this is where our embellishments come in. So what I'm going to do is take, like I said, what I found in the in my hair store. Never thought I would be using hairpins in my crafts, but using these decorative hairpins to embellish the top of this floral arrangement. And so if I place that hairpin in the middle of that floral arrangement, you can no longer see that there was a gap. And so just continuing this process, going in around my poles, east, west, north, south, and there you have it. Our floral arrangement is complete. All right, so here we have our completed and well dried, between 12 to 24 hours, riser that we created for all of $6. And so now what I want to do for the rest of this video is show you how I would set this up for my clients. And the first thing I would do is place my LED light on a mirror to be sure my event planners, my brides, those of you who are listening, those of you who plan to use these at events, to make sure I am catching as much and reflecting as much light as possible. Now for my clients, and if you're using this, make sure don't just place that LED light underneath there. I would suggest wrapping it in diamond wrap so that once you're looking at it through the glass, it looks like one cohesive piece. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to place our water beads inside our bowl. And this bowl, believe it or not, you may not be able to really see the size of it on camera, but it can hold about 2.5 or 2 3/4 minus these beads that are trying to escape. 2 3/4 of these containers of beads. And so what you want to do is make sure that you're filling that bowl all the way to the top, because what you're going to do then is place your foam on top of those beads. So now that we have placed the beads in the bowl, we are going to turn on our submersible LED lights. For the sake of the video, I'm just showing you, I'm just putting 2 in rather, but for my client, when I get to her event, I may probably use 3 or 4, making sure that I'm taking advantage of the lighting. And once we have set that up, here is the finished arrangement. All we're going to do is place our floral arrangement on top of our riser, and there you have it. Done. Now what I'm gonna do after I catch this bead is clean this up, set the table, and I'll come back and show you guys what this looks like. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our candle and floral holder glass centerpiece riser that we created for all of $6, when there is a very similar one out there on the internet being sold for $34.99. Now, of course, we understand that $6 gives us our hardware only. And so to use in our event, we're going to have to embellish this some. And what I went ahead and did was price this using all Dollar Tree materials, the flowers, the water beads, the chain beads that you might probably use as opposed to the acrylic gems that I used. And using all Dollar Tree items, you will be able to recreate this riser for only $18 a piece. Now, to put that into perspective for you, if you are expecting 100 guests at your event and you are needing 10 tables holding 10 guests each, then $18 covering one table times 10 is going to cost you $180 of your budget to have a centerpiece on each table. Now, of course, I created or copycatted this riser to complement the lighted chandeliers that we created just recently. And of course, as you can see, these two pieces go very well together because we utilized the same base and the same stem. So just something to consider as you are recreating. Maybe you might use 5 chandeliers and 5 risers, 2 chandeliers with 8 risers. It just depends on what you want to do. Listen, my darlings, I just want to take the time to thank those of you who are subscribed to my channel. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the compliments. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the engagement. If you just happened upon this video today and are not yet currently subscribed to my channel, we would like to ask you to humbly consider joining our ever-growing community of DIYers. Also, if you subscribe today, please be sure to click that notification button that will ensure that you are made aware anytime one of my videos have been published. My loves, my darlings, as usual and as always, it has been a pleasure crafting with you guys today. I enjoy the time that we spend together, and before I leave, I want to leave you with this thought. Before you buy, DIY. This is Danielle. I love you all. Until next time, be well and take care. Bye now.